But yeah, well, thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we will be back with Jenn hosting, and she'll be telling us all about.
I'll be there.
Help him.
Oh, I don't know what case I'm doing.
What are you fucking talking about?
What?
She'll tell us all about her next case.
Well, good thing she has a whole week to write it down.
Oh, God, are we still like playing that bit where we don't tell people that we film all at once?
Welcome back, Mystery Seekers, to episode 3 of season 3 of the Mystery Society.
Whoa!
I don't think you ever introduced us like I asked you to. I'll go ahead in order of importance. I'm Taylor.
He said that.
I'm your host.
He just says his name 3
The
times.
one who matters. Not Taylor, also not Taylor. We're good.
Not Taylor.
Thank God.
So, today, oh man, it's gonna be bad. I will be telling you.
Just Nate? What about me?
He can't look away from me.
I forgot Jen's here. Anyways, my story today is deeply disturbing. It's gonna be tough to follow your cases because those are some high profile, delicious mysteries. This case messes me up because there's so much footage that we have, that the public has. I don't know what footage we don't have, but I've got to assume that there's stuff that wasn't released. And the fact that that footage can't help us find the criminal who committed these crimes it blows my mind, especially because it's so recent. I'll just start with saying, this begins in Midlothian, Texas.
Ooh, that sounds like a faraway land.
This takes place in a church in Texas called Creek.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we're about to get religious. We're not. God does not come into this at all, actually. He's pretty absent the whole time.
He's absent from all of these, actually.
From every single one of these cases. So anyways, this occurs in 2016. At about 3:50 in the morning, when the church is completely empty, a human, I'll go human because that's about as much as we know about them,
Okay.
enters the church completely garbed in tactical gear. Big police wording across their back. Their face is covered up. And they just start pacing the halls and basically start ripping open doors. They shatter a few windows. It's not quite the erratic behavior that we see in Eliza Lamb.
It seems deliberate.
Yeah, no, it seems more like, it's not very purposeful is the thing, but it doesn't seem like they're crazy. It just seems more like they're there and they don't really know what to do now that they're there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so they just start pacing, opening doors. It doesn't really seem like they're actually looking for something, but it's all very odd. A 45-year-old woman named Terry Bevers, or she's known as Missy. So Missy Bevers is how you will probably hear about this case if you've heard about it before or you continue to do research. She's a 45-year-old woman. She was a yoga instructor who led a boot camp-like fitness class that morning of the 18th of April in 2016. She, last minute, changed where their class would be held at 5 in the morning.
Was it usually at the church?
I think
or
it was
just
usually
a
outdoors, and it was raining. So they moved it to the church. The only people who knew that this was being changed were the people attending her class and her husband. The night before, she did tweet, "If it's raining, we're still training." So at 4:18 a.m., she is seen on footage entering the church.
So just because she tweeted that out, people that might not have been attending but knew her and followed her would have known that it was still happening anyway, just not necessarily where it was going to
Exactly.
be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you said she got to the church at what time?
4:18 in the morning. The suspect showed up at 3:50. And so they'd been pacing for about half an hour through these halls, and she's entering not knowing that anybody else is going to be there. About 5 a.m., one of her students calls the police to report finding her, like, brutally bludgeoned, I guess you would say, as well as stabbed, but I think you would say bludgeoned and stabbed because I believe the culprit used a hammer. This person who is on camera pacing these halls for a good while has never been identified. What I don't understand is, like, if you have the footage of the halls and then, like, do you really not have any footage or any cameras outdoors? You don't show them arriving or leaving or
right.
stuff like that. Or if you do, like, we don't have that information, which kind of bothers me. So one of the things that's really debated is when you have somebody who's completely covered head to toe and you're trying to identify them. Yeah. So you go with what you can, which is how they walk, like how large they are, stuff like that. And I don't want to say they waddle, but they walk very strangely. Like,
Do you think it's because of the amount of stuff that they're wearing?
See, that's a theory, is that...
Can we see the video?
Yeah, you want to just watch the video first?
Yeah, if we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, do you see in his right hand?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
In the
hammer.
right hand, that's the hammer.
It's weird that they just went there in the middle of the night.
Right.
Like, if you have all this tactical gear, why go into an empty building? I mean, unless they were going there to find Missy and literally looking in the rooms to, like, see where she is.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because nobody should have known that she was be there, or nobody should have been able to get there before her. You know? That big white police on the back.
He's walking in such a weird way because it's like, it really does look like he almost doesn't know what he's doing. Like, it
Right.
doesn't look like he's like, if someone's around this corner, I'm gonna hit him with the hammer. It kind of
No,
just...
it doesn't, right? Well, I was saying, like, he's kind of wandering aimlessly.
Yeah.
But it's so weird to show up to a place looking so prepared and then not
Right.
have any kind of plan after this point.
I can't tell if they're walking strangely because of all the gear, because they're wearing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an absurd amount of gear to have. And why have all of this? What are you so
Right there, I'm pretty
prepared
sure they're
for?
smashing windows.
Yeah, you can see it breaking
Yeah,
on the
you see
floor,
glass.
yeah.
When the
He's swinging it so lightly.
When the people showed up for the class, they said that there was glass everywhere.
His swings,
Can you
or
replay
their
it?
swings, are very, like, weak-wristed.
Yeah.
It almost... I don't know how this is gonna come out, but it almost looks like the way that, like, a woman would hit
A lot of people
something,
have said that they think it's a woman.
because I feel like...
Can you restart it?
Yeah, I was just
I
gonna
feel
say.
like anyone who has experience using a hammer and, like, how to hit something, like, purposefully wouldn't just kind of be almost flinging their wrist.
It doesn't seem like somebody who would frequent the church, because I
No.
mean, right there, they just opened that door incorrectly and they stopped, like they were confused about.
Yeah.
I also was thinking that, like, their vision might be really limited.
Yeah, to me,
What
this,
else are they holding?
if anything, this seems like somebody who wanted to commit, because the body language just seems like somebody who's not like, this isn't like a big aggressive male. It looks like somebody who's either a female or the type of male who would go to a church to commit some kind of a mass attack, right? That's what it looks like to me. Because if I was going to think of a profile of somebody who would do that, it would be somebody who goes to a place without a real plan, but a lot of gear. Maybe they spent a long time planning this, and they were like, well, I know people show up to the church early. If they were targeting some kind of like priest, that would be the time to go. Then they show up, there's nobody there, and then one woman comes in, but that's it. They kill them, get scared, leave. But that's just from the information that I have.
Yeah, but the other thing is, yeah.
I can't tell if it's a heavyset person or not. And I've worn gear kind of like this.
Have you?
Because I used to hang out with airsoft guys all the time. And so
Okay.
these are dudes who have spent like 20 grand on real military equipment.
Yeah.
So I've worn Kevlar and I've worn Kevlar helmets, assuming that's what this is. It could just be a vest with no plate in it. And it could just be like a hard hat. It doesn't have to have Kevlar on it.
Yeah.
So just from looking at this, I wouldn't say that it's super bulky, though it could be. It could be that he's wearing Kevlar under the vest and everything, and he's not actually that big. It could also be that he is wearing Kevlar, not wearing Kevlar and is big, or is wearing Kevlar and a smaller person, but the Kevlar is really huge.
Right, they could just be layers.
Yeah. When he stands, you can see how he's kind of leaning back. I think that's
Yeah.
because it's probably dragging his chest down because he's not wearing it correctly. You can see his neck there. The vest, the way that the V sits on the vest, it should be up so that it's like up here on you. He's wearing it down here, which means that the vest isn't fitting correctly. So from the side, what it looks like to me is this is the body here, and these are pouches
Yep.
because it's round. If it was Kevlar, it would be a lot flatter, I think. And you'd probably see even more outward because there are pouches on whatever he's wearing. And so if there's Kevlar behind that, it would push it out further, I think. So I don't know if he is or isn't wearing Kevlar, but I'd say probably not. But whatever it is, I guarantee it's all equipment you could just buy on the internet right now. And then that on the back, that's a patch where it says police. I've seen that in like every store you can go to. You could just buy a big patch that says police on it like that.
Why even go into a place like this masquerading as a cop? I mean, you can buy tactical gear that doesn't have police logos on it.
Yeah.
So why go through the effort to label yourself as a cop?
Yeah.
You can see there's something on the front of the vest too. What's in his other hand?
Yeah, and he's holding something here. It looks like a brick. What is that?
I don't know.
It's so hard to take anything away from that video though.
Yeah, I mean, really the only thing you see is the person walking around, but there was no purpose to it.
Missy was a mother of 3 children, and it was later uncovered that she was having an affair. Her husband was away on a fishing trip during this and immediately came back when he got the news.
So he was cleared.
Yeah, because I mean, again, he was one of the only people who knew that she changed times. Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense. And like, if their goal was to go kill Missy, like, it doesn't make sense. 1, how they'd even know she was there at all. 2, why they'd get there that early and then pace the halls, smashing windows, making noise, making a scene for whenever somebody shows up, they're immediately gonna know something's off.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if they knew, they'd probably just wait in the entrance, just like wait, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Or hide and
Right,
sneak
exactly,
around
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Is this the church parking lot?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
The SWFA Outdoors. From what I know, this is a gun store. Like a
Oh.
gun store.
Okay.
This is
So,
April
whoa,
18th,
what the fuck?
2016.
It's raining.
It's raining.
That's why they're having yoga inside.
Why they're training.
Yep.
If it's raining, we training.
This is shortly before. I don't have timestamps. I'm guessing this is somewhere around 3 in the morning. But
But this isn't the
this is
church.
the middle of the night. Not the church. This is a gun store down the road. Down the road from the church. I'll show you how close it is in a second.
Are we assuming this is the car of the person that committed the crime?
I am. They circled the entire place.
even have their headlights on?
No,
They
as soon
don't.
as
No,
they
they
turned
don't.
into the parking lot, they cut their headlights.
Oh.
And
Oh. That was weird.
What was that movement inside the store?
oh no, I didn't see it.
Well,
I think
they've
it was just a
also
light.
flashed their lights a couple times. Which is weird. I saw the movement inside the store too.
Yeah, I don't think it's relevant, but. So this is continuous, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Were they just looking for places to go in? Like, did they see this place and they were like, oh, I'm gonna go here? And then
maybe.
there were
Well-
people here and they were like, oh, I can't go here. Find another empty building to go vandalize or do something in?
Well, I still think, because I'm still going with the theory of this guy being some kind of like wannabe mass killer. And so I wonder if he, because I'm still having a hard time thinking about why do this at 3 a.m, you know?
Yeah, because no one's gonna be around
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. So him going to this store, I'm almost wondering if he was maybe considering breaking in, stealing weapons and ammunition for what he's about to do.
Yeah.
But because if he's not going to break in, if he's just trying
driving
to...
around half the time with the lights off, almost looks like he's casing the place.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he was going in to do that. Because, I mean, obviously he wasn't going to vandalize anything. He's going to do something much worse.
This is the important part, to me at least.
And there's no way anyone can see the license plates on the cars, even with all the cameras.
I doubt it. With all the rain.
And they just circled the entire place at least once, and then pulled into a spot,
Yep.
killed the car. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure they sit here for at least 5 minutes.
So they're sitting in the car. They drove around this building. Maybe we're casing the place, considering breaking in, parked, and are now, considering their next moves? Do I go into this building? Do I go somewhere else? All I have with me is maybe a hammer and all the gear. Now what?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going like, can I do this whole thing with a hammer? Should I get a gun? This could be somebody with maybe some kind of mental health background where they can't get a gun a normal way. In Texas, I don't know how likely that is. From what I understand about Texas gun laws, it's not too hard to grab one.
That's true.
So I don't know what their mental health laws are, but wow, he really just sits here, huh?
I really wish that there was a closer camera view just so we could see what they were doing in the car. If there was, any kind of movement. Because, I mean, maybe they're sitting and they're like panicking.
Or putting all the gear on.
That's the
Yep.
theory that I heard. That's
Yep.
the only reason I
Getting
even had
ready.
this video. Yeah, I read that they could have just driven here, parked, and are changing into their tactical gear
If
in the
you're
car.
doing that kind of shit, I mean, they're in a pretty dark area. Why would you park in the most well-lit
So that they can
parking
see.
lot?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's why they kept turning on their lights, is because they kept turning them off, and then we're like, oh shit, it's raining, I can't actually see, and they had to keep turning their lights on to make sure they didn't crash. So that's why, and they wouldn't want to turn the lights on in their car.
Yeah, and you definitely couldn't. I don't know how far he was from home, obviously, but I mean, whatever drive he would have had to
You're
have
not gonna be
made.
able to drive in that stuff.
No.
No.
I don't even know if you could get in the driver's seat of your car with that vest on, honestly. At least his car.
And
Well,
even-
obviously he had to, but driving the whole way, I mean, you would have the wheel stuck in you.
And then I wish we had video of this person leaving the church and getting back in the car. Either,
Right.
undressing from all the gear outside of the car and then getting in, or getting in the car and taking everything off and then driving away.
Also, I would be interested to see the body language of him coming out after killing Missy.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I mean?
like
Was it like a panic? Did they run to the car?
Right.
Or
Did they
were they
walk
just
out
totally
calmly?
calm the
Yeah.
way that they were in the church?
Right.
And it just doesn't make sense that also that he was there to kill Missy, because like they turn their lights back on. They'd have no clue when she'd get there versus when everyone would get there.
That's
they have
very
no
true.
They literally from 4:18 to 5, they had 40 minutes to brutally murder somebody and get out of there without leaving any signs before her students start showing up. Like, that is not well planned at all.
Yeah. I almost wonder if maybe he also could be not quite a mass killer.
Is this the same car?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That was
we're-
him pulling out of the parking spot.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was still going.
There's so many camera views here, and none of them are close enough to really see anything. Well, at least they use their blinker.
Yeah, that's weird.
It looks like he's driving a lot slower now, as if like because of all the gear, maybe he's having trouble.
That's very close.
okay.
That's like a minute drive, maybe.
So can you zoom out here? I just want to see how close the church is to like residential areas. Kind of a weird place to pick, it seems like. Well, I guess it is a really, really, really big church.
It's a big building.
See, and that's why I keep feeling like he's some kind of mass killer guy.
But if he was a mass killer, so he goes to that other building.
Mm-hmm.
He drives around the parking lot. There's no one in that parking lot.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's a man or a woman at this point, but they drive around the parking lot. It's completely empty. They're probably casing the place because that's what it looked like to me. Pull out of the parking lot, turn around on the highway, go back and pull into the church. It's barely, 4 in the morning? And that parking lot was empty.
Oh,
So-
at 1:58, exited at 2:04. So this is almost like 2 hours before that.
So where the fuck did they go in between this? So they left here, pulled out right, and then drove down the highway to God knows where. And then a couple hours later, come back, and still, they would have pulled into the church parking lot, most likely would have been empty. So again, was it just something where they were casing the building, or were they anticipating people showing up at some point? It just makes me wonder if this person was literally just driving around looking for a building to go in and commit a crime.
Yeah.
Like whatever that crime might have been, like go in and vandalize a church. I have a hammer, no one's gonna be able to tell who I am. I'll just mess the place up because, they looked at the other building and maybe they figured there were alarms if it was, a store for weapons and stuff. Maybe there's too many alarms, they're not gonna be able to get in easy enough. They'll get caught too quickly. They go down to the church and they figure, I'll be able to go in here, but in between the time where they went to the store parking lot, drove around and sat around. And when they finally got to the church, had they gone to other buildings and done the exact same thing or something similar?
I think if anything though, it does kind of kill the idea of him putting on all the gear.
In the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing that now. So now even,
Because then he would have had to have been driving around for 2 hours in tactical gear.
right, yeah.
And I feel like someone, even in the dark when it's raining, like God forbid he drives by a cop and a cop is able to see that and he's like, why the fuck is this person in full tactical gear? Like, that's suspect.
Maybe they went to wherever Missy Bevers usually has her class, and waited there until maybe they heard that they moved it and then went to the church.
If there was a park and they were like waiting around and we're like, oh, it's raining, she's not gonna be here.
Well, and the other thing is we don't have any footage of him leaving the church in that same car. Well, I guess nobody's really sure that that's even the car he was in, right? Yeah, so, yeah, we need so much more footage from this.
A really big question that I don't understand though is also, how does a fit woman who teaches a boot camp get chased down and killed by a man weighed down by all that gear who only has a hammer?
Yeah, I feel like she
That
would have been
doesn't
so
make
much
any
faster.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, I can't even say that they would have been able to sneak up on her because I feel like that would have been very loud. Unless, I mean, she was anticipating people showing up. So if she heard someone coming in, she's, probably just thinking maybe someone's early for the class or, whatever, someone's supposed to be here. It's a church. It's not like it's her private building.
Well, with the way he's walking around, I don't think he would have been very loud. Well, except for breaking all the shit. If he was still breaking shit while she was in there, that's one thing. But yeah, I think you guys are right that she could have gotten away. And that's why I think that there's no way that she would have had a chance to get away. I think that he would have had to sneak up on her. I mean, it's 4 a.m. at the church that you teach yoga at or whatever. You would never expect some dudes walking around in military gear with a hammer.
And most likely if she, being a yoga class, you're gonna want it to be fairly private and kind of quiet. It was most likely in just one of those rooms. So if she's in one of the rooms setting her stuff up and getting ready, that guy comes in, blocks her only exit, she can't get out, maybe there were no windows or anything, there was no other escape for her.
Is there any information on how badly her body was attacked?
So that's disturbing.
Well, the reason I ask is because if it's not that, this is all gonna sound very bad. If the body isn't that destroyed, then I think there's things that you can rule out from knowing that, such as it's not a targeted attack if she's been hit twice by the hammer and then he left, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's possible he did go there to vandalize, got scared, she tried to stop him, tried to call the police, he hit her once or twice with a hammer to stop her, but then killed her and left.
Oh, that kind of stuff happens all the time with home invasions.
Yes, but if the body's been hit 65 times in the head with a hammer, that's personal.
It's sad to think that she just happened to be there, assuming that this wasn't a targeted crime against her specifically, that she just happened to be there because it was raining and she still wanted to be able to teach her yoga class.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It sounds more likely that they just had a grudge against the church or something.
Could be. That's another thing. Texas is a pretty religious area, isn't it? Especially in smaller towns like that. I'm sure somebody somewhere has some kind of resentment.
Yeah, religion is always a very polarizing thing for groups of people. So
Yeah. So only a year after this, it says her husband Brandon Bevers made headlines when he said that he was done looking for his wife's killer. He said the children are not terribly fond of apprehending this person. They don't want to revisit those emotions. They've told me this. They see/hear the daily anxiety I have in finding this person, and I think they're tired of the mentality that this puts our day-to-day life in.
that's really sad.
Yeah, it is really sad. He also said that he is haunted by the distinct walk from the video, and anytime he sees someone who reminds him of the video, he writes down their license plates and reports them.
God.
That also makes me think he had nothing to do with this, because
No.
you don't live life tortured like that, writing down license plates if you like that.
I was gonna say,
That's really
imagine
sad.
living with
You know?
that kind of paranoia, you see someone and that's all you can think of, being reminded of it so regularly. That's heartbreaking.
It's a good example though, because with a lot of these cases, it's kind of easy to forget. When we stop researching the case, it's over for us. But for these people, that's his whole life. Is any goals that he had before that are forever changed by what happened. And there's nothing anyone can do to figure it out.
Wow. Season 3 is getting real sad.
I don't like season 3. Season 3 sucks.
Season 3 is gonna make me cry.
Hey, shut up. At the end of the day, we don't know if this was. We have know nothing about this.
Yeah,
They're
there's
the criminal.
no
We don't know if
information.
they're a man. We don't know if they're a woman. We don't know if they were skinny and just wearing layers of clothes, or if they were fat,
Corpulent.
or if they were corpulent, but or even like if it was a stranger or if it was a friend, if they were after her or not. Like it could have, for all we know, they could have known her, not been there to kill her, ran
And it just
into her and killed her.
happened to happen.
Who knows? Like it could have been any number of things.
Yeah.
And like
God.
this was 3 years ago. It's sad, but like the longer it,
It was very recent too.
yeah, the longer we go, the harder it's gonna be to solve this case. Especially because with that much gear on, even if she fought back, not likely she got any DNA evidence on this
No.
guy.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Because they had gloves on
Yeah.
and
Like-
all the layers and the helmet. There was no way.
Yeah.
Might as well have been wearing a hazmat suit.
They might not have even been able to see who they were killing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the darker cases we've covered.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us this week on the Mystery Society. We will see you next week, where Jen will be hosting and telling you all about the mystery of Brian Schaefer. We'll see you then.
Bye.